Warning, the following podcast has been classified as insanely lucrative. Listener discretion is advised.
I think it's a ninja technique related to your warranty to essentially make all other sellers violate Amazon's terms of service if they try to sell your product.
Your attention, please. Listening to the AM/PM podcast may cause recurring revenue streams and unfair advantages over your competitors. Other side effects may include fatter wallets, fired bosses, and longer vacations. Listen at your own risk. Here's your host, seven-figure entrepreneur and online marketing madman, Manny Coats. Manny Coats.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the AM/PM podcast. My name is Manny Coats, and I will be your host, and this is the show where we talk about Amazon private label and how to generate recurring revenue streams 24 hours per day during the AM and the PM, hence the name of the show. As a matter of fact, we are stress testing our Helium 10 system. We want to see if we can break it. That's what we've been doing today. And while we were trying to break our system, I was making money. How cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. So yeah, guys, recurring revenue streams, right? No matter if you take a vacation, you leave for a day, those sales are still coming in. That's what I love about this business. And speaking of Helium 10, we have something cool that I want to announce, right? I'm super excited. And this is why we were testing things, because we know a lot of people are going to be using this tool, but we have something that helps with the whole brand gating process. You know, brand gating, so other people can't sell your product. You want to lock up that brand and become the only seller, right? Hijackers, away with you forever. So anyways, if you're not sure what brand gating is, okay, you want to hear a little bit more about this and what this super awesome tool is, listen to every word of this podcast, because we're going to go through this really fast and we're going to be covering a lot over the next 35 to 40 minutes or so. So today I have with me for the second time private label attorney Suzi Hixon. Suzi, welcome to the show.
Hey, Manny, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. We talked off air, and man, there's just a lot of stuff that I want to go over. We had an awesome chat, by the way, back in episode number 65. And I know this is a little while back, but you covered things like, I'm trying to go off memory here, but one of the things was checking, I think we talked about checking cheap UPCs that people buy like off of eBay and stuff, because sometimes those are registered to other companies and products. You talked about a form that you use specifically to handle infringement cases when you were contacting Amazon. I think we talked about why an attorney gets faster results than a regular seller. At least that was my theory on it. And you gave us some links to check hundreds of sites for your brand name just with one click. And I think the best thing, or well, it wasn't the best thing, but one of the coolest things that we got a lot of feedback on was how to use a special I think it's a ninja technique related to your warranty to essentially make all other sellers violate Amazon's terms of service if they try to sell your product. And Suzi, I'm going to want to touch base on that a little bit later. And there was a lot of other stuff, guys, in episode 65. That was a cool episode.
Yeah, that was an awesome episode. It was fun.
So today I want to focus primarily around brand gating, because this is big news. A lot of people are talking about it now. It's just starting to get out there. But one thing is that people are still confused between brand registry and brand gating. So can you clarify what the difference is?
I sure can, Manny. So brand registry is one of the first things that you're going to want to do with your brand whenever you start selling on Amazon. And it's a seller-facing, way to access the back end of Amazon through your Seller Central dashboard. There will be an option there to request to be approved for Amazon's brand registry program. It's a fairly straightforward submissions process, and I believe that people are either approved or rejected maybe within 2 to 5 days max.
Yeah, actually, it's even faster than that now, I think. Or at least for me, it was like within hours.
Oh, cool. Okay,
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't know that it was turning around that quickly. That's awesome. The cool thing about brand registry, a lot of people I feel like kind of gloss over the importance of it. But the good thing about it is once you're approved for brand registry, you are given the ability to customize your Amazon listings. And I strongly suggest people really take advantage of that whenever they become approved for brand registry, that they go into, their Seller Central and upload nice branded images, pictures of your product showing your trademark /brand, and pictures showing your packaging and anything else that's particularly unique about your product. I think it's really important for when customers hit your landing page, they see that it's immediately obvious to them what your brand is.
Yeah. So to summarize, guys, if you have brand registry, and I just got a couple brands with new brand registry added, it essentially locks up your listing so that other sellers that might hop onto your listing, and we've got podcasts that cover that in detail, how they do this. But if they underprice you, they get the buy box. If you don't have brand registry, it's not that difficult for them to go in and delete your images or change your images, change your description, your bullet points. So this will lock up your brand so that at least you have control of that. But it does not stop sellers from still selling on your listing. They can come in and sell products. A lot of times it's hijackers, right? They have counterfeit products or similar products. They might have even sourced the products from the same factory, and they'll sell on your listing. And that's where brand gating comes in. So Suzi, let's talk about that.
Yeah. Okay. So most of us know that once you're selling on Amazon, we're seeing a lot of situations where third parties are hopping on our Amazon listings, and these could be egregious counterfeiters, or they could be legitimate sellers who somehow obtained your product somehow, maybe through liquidation, maybe you did a big review giveaway, but somehow they've obtained your product, or there's someone selling something that's not actually your branded product. Well, brand gating does not discriminate against either of these. So brand gating is a way to put up walls or a barrier around your brand on Amazon, which prohibits third parties from listing against your particular ASINs. So let's say that someone is out there doing retail arbitrage, where they try to find your products for deeply, discounted prices. Well, if they go to your Amazon listing and you've been gated, when they try to list against that ASIN, they'll get a notification that says you must get approval from the brand owner before you can list this product. So the main really cool thing about it is that it's the best way to prevent hijackers / counterfeiters from hopping on those listings. But of course, another good thing about it is it does prevent these people that are doing, online or retail arbitrage from listing against you, because that type of activity can, devalue your overall brand. Even if they just start charging just a few cents or a few dollars less than what you do, that obviously can kind of deter from that overall brand value that you're trying to establish on Amazon.
Right. And the issue that I've run into with this is that even if somebody is selling a legitimate product, like let's say somebody buys my product, I sell it for $40, they buy it, and then they sell it as a used product for $20, half price. And somebody buys this, and for some reason, something is wrong with that product. I didn't send it out. This other guy sent it out. The person that gets that, they can leave a review on that product, and that review is going to go on my listing, so it affects me directly. So there's a lot of times where you just want to control everybody that can sell on this. In my case, I don't want anybody selling my product. I just want it to be me. I want to control the whole funnel. And up until recently, Amazon was only allowing really big brands like Disney and Lego, Nike. There's a ton of them. But they were essentially saying, all right, these big brands will allow brand gating. And they were essentially choosing who the companies were going to be. They were saying that it was based off of the ones with the most counterfeiting issues. And it was at Amazon's discretion to who they gated. When this announcement came out where they were doing this, I reached out, this was a couple months ago, I think. I reached out to every contact I could that could potentially help me with gating my products at Amazon. And everybody I talked to didn't even know what it was. They're like, no, that's only available to like, if you're like a big company like Nike. But now they've started to open this up just recently. And in fact, there is now a brand gating department. I guess the process right now is go to Seller Central, ask them to transfer you to the catalog department, and then they can relay emails to the brand gating team. A regular person can't talk directly to the brand gating team right now. Is that right, Suzi?
I'm not sure, about the logistics of going through Seller Central, kind of like you mentioned. I'm not quite sure how that works. I know that my contact at Amazon works with some type of brand gating team and a bunch of teams internally to help get the restrictions in place. So there's a lot of different moving parts within Amazon And so that's why it seems to take at least 5 weeks or so to get it done. But I'm not quite sure if I know really what the logistics are, if you go directly to, is it seller support? And then, you ask them to request brain gating. I'm not quite sure how that would work for sellers.
Yeah. So that's awesome that you have those direct contacts, because that's what nobody else has. This is a big advantage you have. And if I went through the initial process, and by the way, guys, I'm actually using Suzi, just to be clear on everything. I'm using Suzi for multiple things. My trademarks on some of the new trademarks I'm doing, and for brand gating. We'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, when I contacted them initially, just recently actually for brand gating, they fire back an automated email that essentially says you need to get all of this documentation together to prove this, this, and this, and then you have to submit it to them, and then you also have to mail it to them to like a physical address. You've got to go through this process. So I've dealt with Amazon so many times now, and I know for a fact that when an attorney deals with them, when it comes to IP stuff or legal stuff or anything related to this, it just gets done a lot faster going through an attorney than when I would do it myself. So that's why I started using Suzi. That's why I'm using you. But I want to ask, Suzi, there's different brand gating levels, right? So there's new items. For example, you can restrict people from selling your new items, and there's other people or other brands that have it completely locked up to where you can't sell new or used. Is that right?
My experience so far has been I've been able to get them gated to prevent anyone from selling products as new. I am seeing where third parties are still able to list against them to sell used like new. Now, this could be something, that I'll need to specifically request in my gating, but the experience that I've had is that, third parties that try to list against gated brands will still be able to do it used like new. Like the workaround people seem to be kind of going for that are doing this. Now, some of the really big brands, it would be kind of interesting to see, like maybe like you mentioned Disney, kind of what they're doing. My thoughts would be that this time of year, they're probably very strict about listing products used like new, just because it's the holiday season, that kind of thing. I know that they've tightened up some of the the ability to list against certain brands, and maybe they're doing that right now for used like new because it's the season.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I don't remember who it was, but I saw some that they weren't available for anything. Like you clicked it and you had to be fully approved before you could list against anything. So like it didn't even give you the option to sell as used. It just said you need to contact the rights holder to essentially sell. So I have seen that. I just don't remember who it was. So some people have been saying that you need a trademark filed or even fully registered before you can get brand gating. What are your thoughts on this?
As far as I know, that is not true. The only requirement by Amazon that I'm aware of right now is that you must already be part of Amazon's brand registry program. There's no requirement that you have a trademark yet. I could see Amazon at some point requesting that. You don't have to show that you've had counterfeit activity, although I do believe that if you have had counterfeit activity on your listings already, then that is definitely a good argument to include when you're requesting gating.
That's awesome. Well, we're going to find out because some of the work that you're doing for me is on non-trademark related products, so I don't think it's going to be an issue. I'm excited to actually report the results back.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
So,
fingers crossed, Manny.
Come on, now this is going to be good. It's going to be easy.
I don't want to tell you.
Don't worry about that. Let's see. So, you know what? Let's talk about the big news, actually. Shoot, I haven't even really touched on this. Amazon is now, just recently, in fact, most people don't even know about this, they're starting to auto-gate specific brands. And I'll say this right now. I have 4 brands. One of them was auto-gated. We checked, and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, this brand is already gated, and I don't have to worry about hijackers on this one. So that's cool. So they just rolled this out. It's brand new.
Yeah, and I've had reports from clients that they've been auto-gated, and in a few situations, people have come to me and requested to be gated, and we proactively look before requesting, and I get to tell them, well, congratulations, it looks like you're already gated. You don't really need me. But it is a good thing. I don't know the the rhyme or reason behind which brands are being subject to this auto gating and which ones aren't. It's it could be just a beta test that Amazon is rolling out. And that is, when I'm speculating about that, that's kind of what I'm thinking, is that they're doing some kind of beta testing internally to see how this works before they roll it out in general. So time will tell.
Okay. All right. So the method to check to see if you're brand gated, people are probably going to ask, well, how do I do this? There's a couple ways now. There was one way before, and that was, if correct me if I'm wrong, but essentially you had to find another seller, somebody you trusted, and you'd give them your ASIN or your product listing link. And then they would go and then they would click on a button to sell the item and see if they would get the restriction, right? If the alert would pop up. Is that what you were doing?
Yes. Yeah. So I would just go into my Seller Central dashboard and choose add a product. And then I would insert the ASIN right there and see what the result was. That's one way to check. Sometimes you can check on the consumer-facing listing. So let's say that you're totally logged out of your account, your Amazon account. You could go to your listing and select add a product. And then there you may also get that notification that says you must have the brand owner's approval before you can list this ASIN or list a product against this ASIN. But that can get really clunky, when you're constantly having to, get on there. But it sounds like you might have an answer to this for us, Manny, to make things a little easier.
I know, and you've been a beta tester. So yeah, guys, we have a tool, and it's a free tool. So it's unlimited uses if you're a paid Helium 10 member, but you get a lot of uses if you're just a free member. Okay, so it's called the Brand Gate Checker. You'll see it over in the tool menu on the left-hand side once you log in. Again, if you're not a Helium 10 member, just go sign up. It's free. You don't have to be a paid member. And it's called Brand Gate Checker. And yeah, you can use it very quickly. You essentially paste an ASIN in there and hit the start button, and it will tell you if you are, or if that particular brand is gated, and in what level of gating is actually on your account. So Suzi, you've been using it. I mean, I think it's awesome, but no pressure. I'm not twisting your arm. What do you think about it?
I really love it. It's super straightforward. It's super easy to use. I actually played around with it this morning. I needed to check the status of several of my clients that I've requested gating for in the past. And one of them that I put in today, I got the good news. It says brand gate level. Everything is gated. So maybe that's kind of going to where you were talking about the different levels. But I'm looking forward to learning a little bit more about that. But has a nice little picture here so you can kind of confirm that you put in the right ASIN, just match that up. And sure enough, there's the brand name of one of my clients. And with the great news that they're gated now. So
nice. Well, guys, there's no other place where you can do this. It's at Helium 10. Kind of like when we released the 5K checker tool, it was the one place to go. And we're trying to do that with Helium 10. Full disclosure, guys, if you're brand new to my podcast, helium10.com is a company that I founded. It's the one place I go for just about everything that I do. Really high-end quality tools there, but it's called Brand Gate Checker. Check it out. It's free for now. Okay, we're releasing it free. Definitely check to see if you're gated. And by the way, guys, if you check and you're not gated, okay, if it says that you're not gated, there should be anyways, a button at the bottom that allows you to get in touch with Suzi Hixon to actually help you with brand gating if that's something that you want to do. Okay, and it's gonna forward you to a site called brandgating.com. And you can go there directly if you like. And Suzi, let's just get this out of the way, the disclosure. If you help someone to actually gate their product or their brand, your rate is what?
Currently $1,500.
All right, so $1,500. And think about this, guys. I know a lot of you might be thinking, oh my gosh, $1,500. But if you just save one sale per day from a hijacker or somebody who's on your listing, just one, right? And we know if somebody jumps on your listing, they mess up everything for a while. But one per day, and you're saving, $10 per day, right, for the year. That's $3,600 you've saved. So it's important. I think it's imperative now to get brand gating. So it is a large sum up front for a lot of people. But the good news is, and Suzi knows this, right? If you go to brandgating.com, we've got a special offer for you guys over there with some awesome bonuses.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. so check it out. You get a really awesome deal if you go to brandgating.com. And again, you can also access that through Helium 10 when you actually check on your listings.
Yeah, I think it's really important to go ahead and proactively check first to make sure that you're not already gated. I've had people that have paid me, and then we've checked, and then I've had to give the money back.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
But, I think it is really important to do that to, save you time. And hopefully the good news is, you will check and you'll see that you've been gated.
Yeah. One of the things that I really like about you, Suzi, especially when it comes to this kind of stuff, if you hire some other attorney, they've got their hourly rate, and no matter what, you're paying that hourly rate. And with you, you've got a flat rate, and you will either produce or you won't for them, right? You're either going to get gated or you're not. And you told me that, hey, if a client comes to me and I'm unable to get them gated, I won't charge them.
Right. Yeah. I feel like I'm offering people, it's not like I'm spending 5 hours here drafting a contract for someone, I feel like I'm offering them an end product, they have an expectation of this end product, and that includes being gated. So if it doesn't happen for whatever reason internally at Amazon, then I will refund their money.
Perfect. That's that. That was the big news. I wanted to get that out. I do want to talk about two other things, because we've had a few questions in regards to some of the content back from episode number 65. Do you got just a few minutes, Suzi, to go through this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. So in the previous podcast, we talked about that warranty information and placing that warranty information in the description of your product listing, which would immediately put any seller that sells on your listing in violation of Amazon's terms of service. So this is assuming you do not have brand gating, you just have brand registry, and somebody has jumped on your listing. So a couple questions here.
Sure.
One, can you go over the process one more time, explaining what it is and how it works? And two, how does a seller, this was the big question, how do sellers actually enforce this process? Yeah, once they have someone on their listing that isn't, they're technically violating terms of service because they can't offer the warranty legally.
So basically, the information that you would put within the content of your listing is stating that you, as the seller, the authorized seller, obviously, because you're the brand owner, that you're going to offer this exclusive warranty. It can be whatever you want it to be, 6 months, a year, 3 extra months, whatever. You would say that it's exclusive to sales through you or any authorized resellers. And you could say that purchases made through these unauthorized resellers would not fall under that same warranty. And you would put that in your, in your listing. And basically what that's doing is it's sort of forcing the third-party seller to be counterfeiting you, because at the end of the day, what a counterfeit is the product that is not, or there's a material difference from that counterfeit product and from your product. So the courts have found that, or have held that, a material difference can be anything, anything that's even something that's intangible, like the offer of a warranty, or even something like post-purchase customer service. So when you put that type of language on there, you're kind of forcing a counterfeiter to be in violation in really almost any third-party seller, because they won't offer that same, or they can't offer that same warranty. Now, in terms of enforcing that, you basically have to go through the same channels of any type of reporting of counterfeit or infringement activity within Amazon. But in your claim of counterfeit, you would just simply state, these are the material differences. And one of those would be that you're offering this warranty, whereas the unauthorized seller can't. So you would have to, actually explain that in the correspondence to Amazon.
So does that allow you to try to get them removed right off the bat without having to order their product?
Yes.
Okay, really?
At the end of the day, we don't want to be ordering stuff from China. But wait for 3 to 4 weeks while they're sitting there counterfeiting, and reaping the benefits from the hard work that you put into your listing. But so the goal is to not have to do those test buys and to be able to go ahead and report that to Amazon. Now, there's a good chance that if you report that violation to Amazon, you are going to get a response that says, please provide your test buy order or order numbers, or, all this. So a lot of times you are going to get some kind of canned response from Amazon. I suggest responding to those and just saying that, I'm reporting a counterfeit activity. A test buy is not required for the report of counterfeit activity. And if this matter cannot be handled expeditiously, please escalate this to Amazon's legal department.
I love it. That's good.
Now, I've had success in doing that. And I don't know if it's because, maybe they don't want to escalate it to Amazon's legal department. Maybe they just want to go ahead and get it, take care of the problem. I mean, let's face it, 99% of the time when you have someone working at Amazon and they go look at this situation, they're going to see that it's a counterfeit product. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So...
Okay. So let me ask you this then. If
Sure.
Going back to the actual description, if my company is called Widgets Inc.,
Right.
would I simply, let's say I offer a 1-year money back guarantee or warranty, could I say something very short like, I'm not sure of the exact wording, the 1-year warranty is only offered by Widgets Inc., any other seller cannot provide this warranty, or what's the language you would use in the description so that you can enforce this?
I think that was a really great start, Manny. But yeah, I would say something like Widgets Inc. offers this exclusive manufacturer's warranty for 1 year. This warranty is exclusive to sales through Widgets Inc. and only our authorized resellers, and purchases made through unauthorized resellers would not fall under that manufacturer's warranty. And I also suggest putting that kind of language on your e-commerce site as well, the one that's off of Amazon. And you may also want to, on your e-commerce site, have a list of unauthorized sellers. Now, I don't think that you can do that within the content of your Amazon listing. That might be against their terms of service. But I don't think that there is anything against stating the following are authorized sellers, if that makes sense. I think you could list who they are, but you might not be able to list unauthorized sellers.
Right. Okay. So you can have the wording on there. You just and you can list yourself, but just don't list other companies. Okay. Awesome. Well, that answered that question very thoroughly. I think that was one of the biggest questions people had was like, okay, I'm adding this to my listing, but now what do I do? How do I actually enforce this?
Well, the thing is too, Manny, if you have that language in there that's, kind of front and center, that might act as a little bit of a deterrent for third parties hopping on there. It might not. Most of them aren't extremely sophisticated, so they might not pay any attention. But that's just something to kind of think about, is it might act as some deterrent for, third parties from listing against you.
Yeah. I love the fact, though, that by doing this, it allows you to go through Amazon's system to actually get them removed without having to order the product. You hit the nail on the head with the issue of, well, if they're in China and it takes 3 weeks to get the product out here, they're stuck on your listing until you can get that product in.
Yeah.
So by doing it your way, you can get them removed without having to place that test buy.
Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous, having to wait 3 weeks for a test buy to come in. So
Awesome. So one last question. I wanted to keep this thing right around 30 minutes, and we're there now. So we'll go through super fast, 60-second response if you can.
I'll try. I don't know if it's possible.
We're gonna try. So we have people asking about trademarks, and they say, okay, I've been using the TM as soon as I file my trademark, but it's not registered yet, so I can't use the R. Is there any difference? I mean, obviously the R is what you want, but are there any benefits to using TM at any point?
Yeah, let me kind of backtrack you a little bit on that, Manny. That TM, you can use that without having a pending application. So as soon as you pick your brand, and then you figure out what trademark you want to use, as long as you're not infringing anybody else, you can and should go ahead and start using that little TM. It's good to superscript it or subscript it, however you feel like it, looks good, it's aesthetically pleasing. The R in the circle is reserved only for registered trademarks. So don't use that until you get registered. But the benefit of putting the little TM is it does put third parties on notice that that's actually your trademark. So I suggest doing that. You don't have to do it in every instance of use of your trademark, like on your Amazon listing or on your e-commerce site, because that does get really aesthetically crazy looking if you're like constantly, superscript TM on everything. But, one thing you could do is like use your trademark in all caps with a little TM. And then, where it's like front and center, like the first time that you're using your trademark within the content. And then from then on out, you can just use your trademark in all caps, for example, but you don't have to use the little TM every single time.
Awesome. Okay, that was perfect. So Yeah, guys, that's it. Check out brandgating.com if you want to find out more about getting your brand actually gated by Suzi. You can also access that through the Helium 10 site, which you would do through our BrandGate Checker tool, okay, which we just talked about. Again, that's a free tool, so check that out. And yeah, Suzi, we covered a lot in a short period of time. We jammed through this in like 1/3 of the time from last time. So, well, hey, I appreciate you coming on the show as always. Thank you. And yeah, I hope to have you back soon.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. And thank you so much for having me, Manny. And anytime we'll talk more about trademarks, and I'm sure that the landscape is going to constantly be changing, and who knows what it'll be like when we talk next.
Yeah, with the way Amazon's doing things, we'll probably have you on in a month because there's going to be a bunch of new stuff coming, I think.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Thanks, Suzi.
Thanks, Manny.
If you like this episode, check out episode number 81. It's about brand registry, and I talk about how I got declined by Amazon 5 times in a row on a single brand and how I overcame that. I think it'll open your eyes, and it shows that you should never give up. And outside of the podcast, you can gain a lot of information, a lot of valuable connections by joining our FBA High Rollers group. This is a Facebook group that I created, and there are over 12,000 active members in the group. So definitely check that out. If you go to Facebook and you type in FBA High Rollers, you will find us. Or an easier way to do it is to go to our ampmpodcast.com website, and over there on the top right of the website will be a link to our Facebook group. Click that and you'll be in. It's a closed group. You've got to be approved, but we'll take care of that. Just go and apply, and we'll see you there hopefully in just a day or so. One final thing, make sure you're subscribed to the podcast and leave us a review if you really like it, if you find that you're getting any kind of value, if you found a nugget or two in the times that you've listened to the podcast. I would love to hear from you guys. And if you have any questions that you want to ask me, definitely head over to our website, and there's a feedback button there where you can actually leave me a voicemail. I'd love to get back into some more Q&As and play your messages on air. That website, again, is ampmpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and go crush it. Hey guys, Manny Coats here. If you've been following my podcast, you know I'm a huge fan of the Helium 10 tools for Amazon sellers. I only use the best tools out there, and the Helium 10 suite of tools are, in my opinion, best in class. Now, just because I'm the founder of Helium 10 doesn't mean that's all I use, right? I go where the money's at, and if there's a tool on the market that I haven't made and that tool helps me make money, I'll use it, and I'll talk about it here on the podcast, and I'll even link to it in our tools section at the ampmpodcast.com website. But I can honestly say that there's no place that I know of where you can get all the important tools that an FBA seller would need in one place, where the tools work with one another to help you save time and make you a lot of money. Now, the Helium 10 tools have had a huge hand in helping me go from zero to over $1 million in Amazon sales in just 10 months. Okay, keyword research, listing optimization, and a super tool called 5K Checker that makes sure that the words in my listings, okay, the front end and the back end, are actually indexed by Amazon. And guys, if you're not checking this, you're leaving money on the table for sure, because Amazon is always tweaking their search engine. Okay, so I always use 5K Checker every single month on every single one of my listings to ensure that my listings are still indexed for my keywords and that I'm still pulling in customers like crazy. If you're a longtime listener, you know I'll never use a tool unless it can save me a lot of time or it's going to make me a lot of money. So I'm confident Helium 10 will do this for you guys, all right? There's a money-back guarantee, so there's no risk. Check it out. Head over to helium10.com. Helium10.com. That's helium10.com.
You've been listening to the AM/PM podcast hosted by Manny Coats. For more information, insider tools, and to get the resources mentioned in this episode, visit ampmpodcast.com.